I am so proud of you guys. I am on vacation. Coaches last, Erin's first. Back to back.
That was North Carolina Tar Heels hockey coach Erin Matson and her team celebrating winning the NCAA championship. Matson was then soaked with a large bucket of iced water by her players, which is tradition in US sports. It's championship number 5 for the 23-year-old Matson. She won 4 as a player and has now added 1 in her first season as the team's head coach. And she has been speaking to SportsHour's Caroline Barker.
This story has a bit of everything. Sporting drama. I mean, they needed a double overtime penalty shootout, which is basically they took it to the end of the end to decide the winner. It's also got a great starring role in Erin. As you'll hear, she's been nicknamed the Michael Jordan of field hockey. But as I've learned when we chatted this week, we've got to put more respect on her name. She's earned it, and she is a superstar. Anyway, we started off by talking about whether or not she's got to grips with that win yet.
I think it's kind of sunk in a little bit for everybody how unique this whole situation was. And at the start, when I was hired, it was, and the team was used to the spotlight on the program all season and one of the youngest coaches. And then the fact that we were able to do it all and walk away with the trophy and do it together, it really makes it even more unique and powerful. So it's been a crazy whirlwind, a crazy ride. But, at the same time, it's just what we do. We go out, we play hockey, we learn, we grow, we become better student athletes and people. So, as phenomenal as it is, it was just another season for us.
I told myself, don't go down the she's a young coach route, because if you're good enough, you're old enough, right? But however, what are you drawing on? Because normally when we think of age, we think of experience when you've been in those situations before. But, when it's tied at the end of normal, of regulation, then you go into a couple of overtimes, the sudden death shootout. What are you pulling on in that moment?
It's still experience for me. It's just in a different way. And it wasn't head coach in front of my name, but my, play from being always the youngest one on every single team and learning from my older teammates to then being the youngest one on the national team and traveling internationally and being exposed to different teams, different cultures, having teammates who were double my age, leaning on the coaches throughout my life that I've just been so fortunate to have wonderful mentors and coaches and a support system. And my parents, my time here at Carolina, we went through a lot of different lessons and we're obviously very successful, but that didn't mean it took hard work and attention to detail and everything. So I would say it's still the experience that I'm leaning on just as a player and as a player coach in a way and as a successful, teammate and captain rather than, a resume with head coach in front of my name. So same lessons. And obviously I will be learning for years and years to come. It's the beauty of our profession. You never, there's no formula. You never know enough about it. And you can always get better at leadership and motivation and everything like that. But the people surrounding me that I've been able to lean on and learn from, as coaches here, administrators, Karen Shelton, my former coach, they're just unlike anyone else. So I've leaned on them a lot as well.
You mentioned Karen Shelton. It was some 42 years in charge.
Yeah.
So for you to come in and do what you've done, it must have taken a lot of heartache and pain in terms of just the level of study that you have to do on other teams, on your players to be in that moment. So have you allowed yourself to be in that moment to go, my hard work paid off?
I've definitely realized it. I don't think I've had time yet to actually sit on a couch and let a big breath out. And that's fine, but I'm looking forward to the day that it's able to happen. That was the question. Am I going to be able to learn and, hang on for all of this? And I knew as a player, as a student athlete, I was always just curious and I would ask questions and I would observe a little bit more than the average student athlete, I think. But it's crazy the amount of scheduling that goes into it, of planning, of reading into every decision that's going to be made because it's going to be interpreted in 28 different ways because there's 28 different players and 6 staff and just, the effort it takes. People know coaches coach and that's great, but that's 5% of what we do. So I'm proud of myself, but I really mean it that I could not have done it without a staff like this or a mature team like this or, so many people at Carolina looking out for me and helping me. So yeah, it feels good that all of that work paid off. But it takes a village.
Hey, game backs game. Don't worry about that. What were the celebrations like? Still ongoing, or at least the effects of them?
Crazy. Yeah. I'm sure the girls are still celebrating as they should. No, I'm good. I'm content. I need to respond to texts and emails and everything. And we have recruiting on Friday. So the celebrations for me, they were brief, but I think, celebrating as a player, I thought it was phenomenal and fun, and we spoiled ourselves, and it's just stories that we will talk about for the rest of our life. But then being a coach and being able to step back and see the celebrations unfold and see the girls and the staff who you care so much about and have put so much time and energy into helping them be successful, seeing them finally celebrate, it was just remarkable. I thought it was great as a player, and it is nothing like being a coach and seeing your team and everybody involved, and the parents and their siblings and, just everyone who was a part of it, so happy and so just proud of each other. So my celebrations were phenomenal. And I just am so grateful that, these guys have worked so hard to allow us to have moments like that.
I was going to ask you about that. You talk about being a player, hugely successful player. And sometimes when you step away from that into coaching, you often hear sports people talk about it's never the same, that high, that buzz, that emotion. But it was.
It was definitely, I think, very different. It was a familiar celebration and a familiar feeling, but in a very different way, in a very different lens. And I think, again, the fact that a lot of people doubted this team and the fact that we could get it done, I think it makes it that much more special too. There's just a lot that went into it, but definitely that buzz is very real and it's very present.
Looking down the list of things I'm supposed to ask you about, surely I'm supposed to ask you about being called the Michael Jordan of field hockey. Maybe I'll throw it the other way and say, I wonder how Michael Jordan feels about being called the Erin Matson of basketball now, because surely that's happening, right?
We'll see. I don't know. That still doesn't hit home. It just doesn't feel real when I am uttered in the same breath as him. He is a legend. Everybody knows that. He has done countless things that, are just unheard of. So yeah, that is an honor to be uttered in the same sentence. He probably has no idea what's going on. I don't know how that man survives and does what he does because of just that spotlight on him, and it is phenomenal, and I give him all of the credit, but we can enjoy, uttering the phrase and laughing about it and smiling about it, and it means a lot.
Hey, get used to the glow, because I also saw Mia Hamm, who's like massive as well, and then other people saying you're the GOAT, some saying that all three of you should be on Mount Rushmore. What's the silliest thing you've seen, or the thing that's made you go, gosh? Oh,
good question. I don't know. Again, I haven't had a ton of time to just go and, go down the black hole of social media and everything, but it's been great. Everyone's having a good time with it. We had some footage that our Go Heels Productions team captured, and the people, who have been with us throughout this tournament run on their cameras, the videos, the photos, it's just unreal. So seeing them on social media, it's breathtaking. And I think, the other fun part of it is everyone on Twitter the day I was hired, she's not old enough to rent a car. What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, where are the tweets now? What are you tweeting out now? Are you liking our stuff now? I hope so. So it's fun to again, take it all in from a distance.
Well, I know for a fact that Michael Jordan listens to Sports Hour, so if you hadn't heard of Erin Matson before, he certainly has now. Remember the name. There she is with Caroline Barker, and it is widely believed that Matson may be the youngest college head coach to ever win a national championship. The NCAA doesn't keep birth dates for all former coaches, but she is certainly a star in the making. This is Sports Hour here on the BBC World Service with me, Mike Williams.